Hey, YouTube community. This is a video response for Golden Gun 85's video, 5 questions for an atheist. And those questions were, how was the earth made? Would the world be better without belief in a deity? Why are atheists persecuted in America and around the world, mostly in America? Where do me, get my moral codes from? And since our laws are based on Christian values, would it be better to not have laws, and why? First question, how was the earth made? I'm going to be straight right now. I'm not really sure. I'm not a scientist, physicist, or anything like that. I mean, physically, in the relatively short past, coalescing pieces of rock in space that formed a planet, and genes or whatever started the evolutionary process, a plant cell or whatever, somehow got here from somewhere else in the universe. But beyond the short term, I don't really know, and I don't really think you do either. I mean, you say that God, I'm assuming that you said that God created the earth, but there's really no proof of that, and I don't consider that a legitimate answer if there's no proof of it. I just think it's made up for so you can have an answer. You know what I mean? Second question. Would the world be better without belief in a deity? I mean, I think the world would obviously be better without organized religion. And the only reason for organized religion is belief in a deity. So I think that the world would be a better place without belief in a deity. It's pretty okay for somebody to have a belief in something, but when a lot of people do, 2 billion, it just snowballs into this violent, destructive, hateful organization, like you have with all these intense, radical religious sects in the Middle East, and the Catholic Church in medieval times, and still today a little bit. I have no problem with somebody believing in a supernatural being. I would obviously wish they wouldn't, but I have no problem with it. But you can't have religion without, you can't have today's organized religion without belief in a supernatural deity. So obviously, without it, there would be no religion. Hence, I think the world would be a much better place if people didn't believe in a deity. The third question. Why are atheists persecuted? Why do I think atheists are persecuted? Just stick with America right now. I think Fox News has a lot to do with it. The whole Fox News specifically, and the Fox News attitude, just this vicious propaganda against atheists. I mean, when I first became an atheist, people would be like, think I worship the devil. I mean, if I don't believe in God, why would I believe in the devil? But that just shows you what people in America think. People in America think that atheists are these godless, ruthless, militant killing machines. And that's just ridiculous. They say, oh, how can they be good if they don't believe in God? But the vast majority of people who commit crimes are religious. And that's only because the vast majority of people in America are religious. But that just goes to show you that it really doesn't matter what religion you are. You're going to commit, if you're crazy, or not crazy, if you want to commit a crime, you're going to commit a crime. And if you want to kill somebody, you're going to kill somebody. All right? There's no correlation between atheists and killing somebody. In fact, religion causes the most destruction in America. I just think it's mainly propaganda based. Like I said, I watch Fox News, and you got fucking Sean Hannity saying how terrible atheists are and how they're ruining America. I mean, what are people supposed to think when they hear something like that from a major news organization? It's just absolutely ridiculous. And atheists, whenever we get mad at something, we We tried to take out the or not we. I mean, I wasn't there at all. Tried to take out the under God, the Pledge of Allegiance. Totally reasonable thing, right? Because this is seculation, and under whose God? You know, I'm not under any God. Why should I have to say that every morning in school during the Pledge of Allegiance? So we tried to get something like that changed, and instantly we're attacked for being anti-American and anti-American values, which is just absolutely ridiculous. The fourth question: where do I get my moral codes from? I think that says what that question intends to do is say that without God, without the Ten Commandments, I assume, and a objective set of morals, how can you know what's right and what's wrong? Well, I think it's pretty obvious that nobody gets their morals from the Bible. If you did, you would be beating your children, coming after me and stoning me, and all sorts of terrible, gruesome things that the Bible says. Chapter 20 in the Bible, the Ten Commandments, which everybody gets their morals from, or at least they say they do. Chapter 21, right after the Ten Commandments, is the proper treatment for slaves. And nowhere in that chapter does it say, don't have slaves. In fact, in the Ten Commandments, at least in I think it's the King James translation, the translation that I have, it says, number 10 is you shall not covet your neighbor's wife, or should not covet your neighbor's like ox, ass, male or female slave. The Ten Commandments straight up and just right there endorses slavery. Right? So I think it's pretty good that I don't get my morals from the Bible. I just get my morals from my life. I mean, it's not very hard to understand once you're around good people that killing somebody's wrong and that stealing something is wrong. But just humans don't need religion to know not to kill people and not to steal and not to beat people and not to enslave people. I just know that. I learned that from my parents. I learned that from the world around me. I learned that from my teachers. I learned that from my friends. I learned that from everybody, regardless of religion. I don't think religion has much of a hand in it to begin with. Question number 5. Since our laws are based on Christian values, would it be better to not have laws? Our laws are not based on Christian values. The Constitution specifically says the government shall make no law respecting or establishment of religion. And in the Constitution, or in the Declaration, it says all men are created equal. Created, assuming there's a creator. They're not talking about your Catholic Christian God, or I don't know what you are, Catholic or whatever. They're not talking about your Christian God. They're talking about nature's God, who created all men equal. Nature's God, the God of Jefferson, the God of Adams. They don't mean that the U.S. should be governed by the Ten Commandments, like fucking Mike Huckabee says it should be. They know, as I do, that humans have a base set of morals, and that they will respect those regardless of religion. So since our laws are not Christian at all the Founding Fathers, vast majority of them were deists, there's really no need to answer the rest of that question, would it be better to not have laws? I mean, I think it's obvious that you gotta have laws. You know, I don't know what we do without them. And yeah. So I hope I get a response to this. If I don't, whatever. I think it's an interesting thing. I thank you for posting in the first place. And if you watch this, thanks for listening. Bye.